I wonder if you actually type in like what is Black Widow's superpower, what does it say? Like it has to say like charm or something. Like there's no
I
uh
mean, isn't that what James Bond does? He charms people to
true.
get his way. It's a valid skill.
But James Bond shouldn't be in the Avengers, should he?
Why not?
I mean, I guess if Black Widow can be in the Avengers, James Bond can be in the Avengers, but I don't think either of them should be there. Those are superheroes, man. Those are you're talking about people. Like these are gods, and like you're saying that an almighty god, like a god of a whole civilization, the civilization reveres and prays to this person, and then that person is in the same team as a spy. Just a
Well,
spy.
if that's the case, Batman should not be in the Justice League.
He should. He at least has the suit and technology and stuff, and he's
And
really
Black Widow
smart.
can fight.
Black Widow can fight, but I'm pretty sure Batman could beat a Black Widow.
Hand to hand, no.
Well, maybe without the suit. He did pretty well against Bane, and Bane was pretty crazy. But Bane messed him up. I'm not even gonna lie. Bane messed him up. He broke his back. I've never seen a superhero get their back broken in a movie.
Yeah, that was wild.
Do you think Batman would make it very far in the Marvel universe?
No.
No. I don't think he would
Absolutely
make it
not.
that far in DC, but I mean,
Batman is just a hyped up cop. That's all he is. He'd be pretty useless on the Avengers.
so he should be doing asset protection at a store or something, right?
Exactly. Batman should
Solid at
be
that.
a mall cop. Paul Blart of the comic book world.
The dude's running out with the sandwich. He grapples him to the roof and like kicks him in the chest or something, like all violent. Man, that would be pretty bad. Yeah, but Batman definitely doesn't need to be a superhero. He's not a superhero. I agree with you there.
I got a question based on last episode of Nerdity. Can Black Widow actually beat Batman?
Yes,
You think so?
I 100% think so.
No. This is Batman we're talking about.
Yeah, this is Black Widow we're talking about. She would whoop him.
No. There's not a
Yeah.
chance. There's
How
not
is
a
that
chance.
possible?
He's better equipped.
They're both humans. Black Widow fights against like aliens and different type. She fights the same villains that the rest of the Avengers fight, and she holds her own. So why would Batman give her so much of a problem?
Because Batman beat Superman like more than once.
Okay, Batman beat Superman, but he loses to the Joker all the time. So he's not consistently that good.
It's because the Joker is psychotic, and the Joker would beat most people because he's psychotic. His game plans aren't any type of cohesive thing. He just is like random, and then all of a sudden real calculated, and there's just like a different element of intellect to the Joker. So that's the only reason the Joker gives him run for money. He'd give Black Widow a run for the money, a run for her money as well. But yeah, no, Batman is killing Black Widow. He's better trained. He's stronger. He's
How is he better
faster.
trained? How is he better trained?
He was trained by Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, and I don't think that means he's better trained than Black Widow.
I think they have similar training. So, but
Black Widow
he was a better
better
student.
trained because she was younger than Bruce Wayne when he first started learning how to fight.
Yeah.
Black Widow was trained to basically just be a weapon.
So is he?
No.
They have pretty similar training backgrounds, but I just think that his is a little bit more intensive because he had a better trainer. And because Ra's al Ghul could beat a lot of people. Then his equipment, his actual what he has on his person. To debate this a couple of days ago, I did some research, and they say that Tony Stark has a net worth of about $12 billion. Bruce Wayne has a net worth of about $11 billion. So they have about $1 billion difference. Now, the only thing that differentiates them then is that they both have giant buildings, and they both have rooms that like the Batcave, and then Tony Stark where he builds his armor. So they both have similar spending on that. But then outside of that, Tony Stark is outfitting all of the Avengers, while Bruce Wayne is only outfitting himself.
Yeah,
So I think he has better equipment
definitely.
because he invented that suit to fight Superman and actually took him down. So I think that I think it's kind of like a Tony Stark situation. Tony Stark could beat Black Widow, but
Tony Stark also knows Black Widow. Batman doesn't.
But it only would take him one fight to know her. He's really intelligent.
Not really. I don't think he would know her personality or her background or anything in one fight. Black Widow doesn't ever lay her cards all on the table like that. I think you're severely underestimating Black Widow.
I looked online, and every article I could find said that Batman would basically destroy Black Widow. That was after I had already made it up in my mind that Batman would win.
I didn't know there were articles about Batman fighting Black Widow, but I stand by what I said. I think she would win.
I think she's a fair fight for Catwoman, not Batman. I think Batman needs to fight somebody like Iron Man.
I mean, Catwoman has also given Batman the work in the past. So I don't think that's a good comparison.
She hasn't. Like, when they actually fight, the only thing that messes it up is he has feelings for her. So he holds back.
I don't think so. I think it's Catwoman's skill set. And seduction is part of her skill set, and it's the same for Black Widow.
If Batman wanted to, he could equip himself up and tear through any of those, like Harley Quinn, Catwoman, probably even the Joker if he was just like the murderer type. Pretty sure he could roll through him.
Well, Black Widow is the murder type. She's more assassin-minded. And I think she would go in for it, ready to kill, which Batman wouldn't. And I think that would give her an advantage. Okay, so for our next topic, we had one that's been brought up several times, and Shawn has been wrong every single time. Let's talk about, would Batman be able to beat Black Widow? Of course not. But Shawn, I'll let you state your wrong opinion.
I don't think that's how it was worded on the topics list. I think it was worded a little differently than that.
I am a comedian and an entertainer. I take the notes and I make them entertaining. Now, again, state your wrong opinion.
Sounded about
Batman.
right. Sounded
Batman
like it was worded
kill
correctly.
Black Widow. Batman gonna kill Black Widow. I'm not even going front. Like, there's no other way of looking at it. Black Man gonna beat Black Widow senseless. Like, he gonna be like, bad kid, and spank her. Like, everything you could possibly think of, Batman gonna do that to Black Widow in the worst possible way. He gonna tear her up. She's not keeping up with Batman. I'm sorry, you guys are silly.
Absolutely ridiculous. Batman doesn't stand a chance in hell against Black Widow. That would be an ugly fight. It would be a very fast fight unless Black Widow wanted to make it like a big cinematic scene, you know what I mean? If there was like news cameras there and shit. Because you know how it is when the heroes fight each other. Like, all the local news team comes out and, you know, it's on every channel, you know. Batman and Black Widow are out here fighting, you know, everybody's tuned in and everything like that. So maybe if all the cameras were there and she wanted it to look really cool, maybe it would seem like a fair fight. But if there was no cameras around, or there was no, you know, none of Black Widow's crushes standing nearby, or there was nobody that she needed to impress, then she would just squash him like a fly. You know what I mean? It would be the fastest, it'd be the quickest death there's ever been if you could have a DC versus Marvel.
There's a reason why the Batman comics are called Detective Comics, because he's just a fucking cop. That's it. Like, he's not a superhero. He's not much of a fighter. That's why he has all these gadgets. He's just a spoiled rich kid. Black Widow is a weapon. She has been finely crafted as a weapon her whole life. She would annihilate Batman.
Right. The Batman comics should be called Wussman comics, is what the genre should be called. Because he's a little coward out there compared to Natasha Romanoff.
Batman threw on a suit and gave Superman to work. The Black Widow not doing that. Like,
because it was necessary.
All her equipment, she's not gonna be able to mess with. She's not gonna be able to mess with Superman. Like, so Thor can't beat Superman.
We're not talking about Superman or Thor. We're talking about Batman and Black Widow. See, this is how you always.
No, I thought you said that she gave Thor the work, but
it's just diversion.
No, because
You're changing the topic.
If Batman beats Superman and Superman can definitely beat Black Widow, then tier wise, so
No,
Black
listen.
Widow could beat Superman.
Wait a minute, Jonathan, let me stop you right there because you are going all over the place. You keep talking about Superman. Nobody brought him up. The only reason Superman would lose to Batman is for the storyline. But because this is not a storyline, this is a hypothetical fight. We're talking about their actual abilities, not BS bad writing. Because Batman beating Superman is bad writing. So let's leave Kal-El out of this. We're talking about this little spoiled cop rich boy fighting Natasha, the baddest bitch, Romanoff.
Right. This little wuss man that just had some money and can't do anything to fend for himself.
He would reach into her back like a Mortal Kombat fatality, rip it out, and start eating meat off her ribs like they was.
You don't even know. You don't even know your homeboy like that, because doesn't he not kill people?
It wouldn't kill her.
I thought that was his whole thing.
It'd be a non-lethal fatality.
That's his code. Natasha has no problem killing some little wuss.
She would rip his heart out straight out of his chest.
Guys, it's not even physically possible for her to be Batman. This is Batman we're talking about versus Black Widow.
Batman is so low tier. He's just a human running around with a bunch of gadgets. He's a nobody.
If they fought, man, it wouldn't even be a fight.
Ask somebody outside of Gotham who Batman is and see if they even know who he is. Ask somebody even in Metropolis. A lot of people don't even know who Batman is. Nobody gives a shit. Exactly. Nobody cares outside of Batman. He's just a weirdo running around his town in his fucking suit. Nobody cares what's going on with Batman in the real world. You know what I mean?
Since you want to bring up who else they fight, he gets to work from a little clown constantly. Mm-hmm. He's fighting drug dealers and stuff and still not coming out with a flawless victory every time. So there's no way he'd beat Black Widow.
Yeah, and the Riddler and shit like that. Just people who don't even have any mutant powers or anything. Like, Natasha's still kicking after fighting all these mutants and shit like that and aliens and fucking, yeah.
Usually this comes down to like basis of like where they're fighting at or like scenario or like whatever. But I think like even if they were in space or if they were underwater or any scenario,
she could beat his ass in the Batcave. She could be inside the Batcave and she would kill him.
That is not facts. That is.
You know how often she has to fight people with more money and better gadgets than Batman, and how often she still disarms them and still outsmarts them. So all of that is out the window. She's
not outsmarting Batman.
Of course.
And she's not going to have that hesitation like Batman because she doesn't fucking care.
Batman
she's
is not a genius.
Killer.
He's a regular dude.
No, he's a genius.
No, he's not. He's not even as smart as Tony Stark. And she could beat
Tony. I don't know about that. She couldn't beat Tony. What? You guys are putting her on this like God tier. Like she's
not even as smart as Alfred. Alfred is the brains of the operation.
When I say outsmart, she's not going to be doing equations with Tony Stark. I'm talking about strategic. I'm talking about a battle.
Yeah, and Tony Stark would definitely beat Black Widow.
You know, not every time.
Not every time, because like I said, that would go down to scenario by scenario. But I think if they were to both be without any equipment, just raw fighting, I think that's the only scenario where she might pull ahead. If they were to put on their equipment and then Batman has his mind mixed with his money and his fighting ability on everything, like his every money. Element.
Is he gonna write her a check? Like, what are you talking about?
Because of his equipment.
And if he has his whole suit and all his weapons, then she would have her belt and her weapons too. So she would still win.
Like I said, do you know how often she disarms people with space technology from galaxies that she's not even familiar with? You don't think she could do the same to Batman?
Right. Whatever equipment he does have is she's going to end up using on him anyway. So yeah, it's not a good scenario.
If she took the Batman suit and put the Batman suit on, there's a chance that she could run with Batman. But that's like the only way. His equipment is way better than hers.
No, she would grab the Batman suit through the eye holes and fucking flip over backwards and throw his ass on the ground.
You need to read some more Avengers comics, and you need to read some Black Widow and Hawkeye comics.
You guys need to read some more Batman comics. Batman was
out punching aliens and all that. Like you guys are saying, he was doing all that harder.
Not on a regular basis, not as often as Natasha Romanoff is. And I would be willing to bet any amount of money that I have read more Batman comics than you.
I don't know about that. I read a lot of Batman comics.
I've worked in a comic book store for years.
Oh, you know what? You might have a point there. Let me take my money, save that, because that's a good point. If you worked in a comic book store, then you might have. But I used to go to the library and rent like tons of Spider-Man and Batman comics.
I used to get shit sent to me by DC. Like, I'm not just talking out of my ass. I'm like you.
Wait, I was gonna say, it doesn't sound like a real story, Shawn. This sounds like something that's just being made up on the spot.
Oh, I'm definitely serious. I used to have my little library card, go up there. They had the shelves in the teen
through the
section.
store, and I used to go up to the local comic vendor. He was the guy who had a shack set up right by the big oak tree, and I'd go up to his shack and I'd buy a few Spider-Man comics and a few Batman comics, and then I'd put them in my waterproof backpack, and I'd actually swim across the river with my new comics and head home, and then I would read them.
Yeah, a library is not going to have the same catalog as a comic book store.
Right. I already gave you that, guy.
I would walk in the library and everybody in the library would say, "Good morning, Shawn."
Exactly. Not that, but definitely did read a lot of Batman and Spider-Man comics. But probably not as much as you. But if you have read a lot of Batman comics, you know that he is not as weak sauce as you guys are trying to make him sound. Or if you've watched the movies, or if you've watched Gotham or any
because I have read so much Batman material, and I'm talking from Detective Comics in the 1920s up until now.
Batman losing.
He is not as strong as most people make him out to be.
That Batman is losing.
And he gets lucky to fit the story most of the time. He has good detective skills, but that won't really help him out with a one-on-one fight with Black Widow.
I think he's just equipped better than her, because remember on the movie, he I guess it depends on what version you're talking about, because if you're talking about the Adam West, Black Widow in her current state is going to destroy him. But if you're talking about Christian Bale, or even what's his name, the newest one,
how could you even talk about Rob Pattinson when we haven't seen that?
No, not that newest one. The big Ben Affleck, even him or Christian Bale, is destroying her.
Nah, to keep it a buck, you don't know what you're talking about. I think Adam West would beat Christian Bale. That Batman versus.
What? He just looked way more fit. He looked.
See, that's exactly why we have come to the source of your ignorance. You think just because he's bigger that he would beat Black Widow, and it does not work like that.
No, it's not that. He set it up so that every cell phone in the city was giving him a clear picture of what was going on, and found the Joker.
That wouldn't have anything to do with, and Black Widow is in his face fighting him. What does he need to find her for? Like I say, he has good detective skills, but that's not going to help him in a one-on-one fight with Black Widow.
Black Widow's winning it. There's no way around it, Shawn.
Exactly.
There is a way around
so
it.
Hard. I feel bad.
Yeah, Black Widow will be victorious regardless.
Yeah, I feel bad at how hard Shawn is trying, but it's just not working. You're not making any valid points.
It's not working. Every bit of research I've done on this says that Batman will win,
but none of that has come out. Every bit of research. The only thing you actually said from the comic books was that he beat Superman. Okay, that was just bad writing. Like
Batman versus Black Widow. I'm gonna
say that really is a bad basis, because they never should have wrote him to defeat Superman. Like that's just absurd for them to fucking do. And then it just gives you lineage to just make up, or gives you ground to just say, oh, well, he beat Superman. So, well, if that's the case, then who in the hell would beat Batman? Like, and so you're saying like Batman would just beat everybody? Like,
right. Because if that's the case,
that's essentially what you're saying. Like, not just Black Widow. You're saying he'd beat everybody then.
No, he would lose to Thor. He would lose to, I mean, maybe, I don't know, but he would lose to, Tony Stark.
Superman as the barometer, it doesn't make sense for the Joker to ever beat him if that's the case. But that happens all the time.
No,
The reason
Yeah.
that Joker can defeat him is the same reason that he can defeat Superman. It's because his mind works in a way that's different than what Batman's mind works.
But that does not make
Batman
any goddamn sense. It is not true. Like,
Batman would beat Superman in a game of chess, but
what?
Joker would beat Batman in a game of chess for
For the
sure.
sake
He
of my
just
mental health, we have to switch the topic. We just have to. I'm about to have a stroke. This is too much for me. He's
Yeah,
talking
I've
about
lost where this has
now.
even gone.
This
He's
is
just
not
grasping
the
onto just threads here. Yeah.
I have a
Next thing you
case
know,
here,
the man
guys.
is gonna say, okay, in Super Smash Brothers, if Batman picked Jigglypuff, then he would like what? Just bringing up all this irrelevant shit.
No, it's because chess is a barometer for intelligence, and Batman is more intelligent than Superman. But Joker is more random, like he's more off the wall random and more prone to like literally he'll just kill anybody type stuff, where Batman doesn't have that bone in his body. Black Widow is another person who uses traditional intelligence, not like that weird, quirky, mentally insane stuff that Joker uses. So I don't.
Do you think Joker would defeat Hawkeye?
Do I think Joker would defeat Hawkeye? Yes.
You do?
Yes.
This conversation is done.
God, so you're just really partial to the Gotham part of the DC universe. You're not even being realistic. There's no way Joker would defeat Hawkeye, is there?
Yeah, because
Like Green Arrow maybe could, but there's no way Joker's defeating Hawkeye. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Joker can't beat anybody but Batman. Maybe Robin, Batwoman.
Right, that's why I asked, because that just leverages it perfect, and they're all human. And yeah, if you think Joker would, that just shows how ridiculous you're being with the Batman.
You are strong.
Joker would stand no chance against fucking Hawkeye. No chance against
characters.
Even Kate Bishop, even the second Hawkeye, I don't think Joker would fucking beat.
There's no way. No way. He wouldn't touch her. You're overestimating Batman's intelligence by a lot. And you're overestimating how random and crazy the Joker is. You don't think any of the other villains are crazy? You don't think Doctor Doom is crazy? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Or you don't think that Black Widow and Hawkeye have dealt with crazy people their whole careers, Yeah.
Like, what kind of shit do you think Black Widow was going through before she was even in the Avengers? What do you think she was doing? Who do you think she was dealing with?
I think she could beat the Joker, but I don't think Batman could. I think it's just different characters. Like there's actual reasons behind that. I think she would lose to I think she would beat the Joker, and Batman would lose to the Joker in some cases, not every case. But then if it was to come down to between a fight between Batman and Black Widow, I haven't found any sources that say that, like different websites and stuff that say.
Sources, like you could really go to the library and check out a scholarly source about Batman fighting Black Widow.
Right. There'd be no point to discuss it if there was some like defined way of, measuring it. Like, we're delivering a lot more logic than what you are, regardless what some stupid article that you find says. Like,
I don't know. I think if you was to take a poll nationwide, I think you'd find Batman coming out on top of that poll.
Yeah, because a lot of people dick ride Batman for no reason.
Yeah.
Because he's dope.
No. Because it's probably the first superhero you ever heard of when you were a little kid. You saw the Batman cartoon in the 90s. You're like, oh man, this dude is the coolest because he's dark and broody. And then you just stuck with that your whole life.
Yep.
It's the same
Spider-Man.
Nightwing would beat up Batman. Dick Grayson would beat up Batman. Nightwing would whoop his ass if he wanted to.
Oh, definitely. 200%.
That's a more fair fight.
Black Widow is a more fair fight.
I mean, yeah, that's more fair.
Yeah.
You're right. That's more fair because he's lower tier than Batman, but that's a more fair fight. Dick Grayson.
No, it's more fair because he's a better fighter than Batman by himself. If you're talking about one-on-one, he's better by himself. Maybe not in the time that he's his Robin, but by the time Dick Grayson is Nightwing against Batman in his prime, yes, you'd fuck him up.
Yeah, how often does Batman give somebody hands? Like, he usually does detective work. He doesn't usually fight someone one-on-one.
Right. Yeah, Nightwing is like similar to like a hybrid of like Clint Barton and Black Widow. Like Nightwing will fuck up most humans.
Yeah.
So I read this comic, and there was a one of the villains. Like all the universe was fighting against each other. So Superman, Batman, the whole Justice League was fighting like Lex Luthor and a bunch of people. Lex Luthor just assembled all the villains, and there was like a super speed ninja guy. I'm not sure his name because Marvel's better than DC. So, but this super speed ninja guy was throwing all these fast punches at Batman, and Batman was just blocking them, and then he just started hitting him. I don't think Black Widow could keep up with that level,
But Shawn, with a lot of those big events, like you're talking about, like even in Marvel when they do like the Secret Wars and the Civil War and all that stuff, or whatever you're talking about with DC, where it's like all the heroes and all the villains. For those big events, they write them where people like Batman and Superman will win in battles they're not usually supposed to, because they need to move the story forward.
And they're in like this team style battle. So that's completely different than a one-on-one. Like if they're in a one-on-one, they're not going to have all the other shit going on. You know what I mean? They can't come fight somebody that's already wounded. Like if it's just a straight up one-on-one, there's no way. Like we said, Nightwing would have a better chance. So would Green Arrow. So would a whole bunch of humans in DC. So would what's his name? Or is Slade Wilson even human? Deathstroke or whatever. He would too. So would Red Hood. So would so many people. Like Batman's literally, like she said, it's just like a rich dude like that has a whole bunch of equipment and shit. He's not like bred for this shit like all these other people. You know what I mean? Like
Right. He's good because he has detective skills and he has a lot of money and he has Alfred. When he does one-on-one fights, he gets the hands from people like Two-Face, who any other hero in Marvel or DC would be able to easily whoop.
Yeah, he always has Alfred in his ear or Robin or both. One of the Robins or both. Sometimes he even has Robin and like other people, you know what I mean?
He has the police chief with the whole police department on his side. He's a cop. He always has backup.
Right. Where Natasha's S.H.I.E.L.D., she's like a whole unit above that. You know? So even if their universe is merged, like S.H.I.E.L.D. is still on a higher level than the type shit that Batman is doing. Like,
yeah, you're literally putting a cop against a soldier. Like, which one is going to win in a hand-to-hand fight? The soldier.
I feel like hearing this, you guys would put Black Widow up above like Thor and Hulk and
No. You can't
but
compare
Batman
Thor
can
and
run with
Hulk to
those
Batman.
people.
What are you talking about?
If Batman wanted to, he can run with those people just like Tony Stark could.
Oh, get out of here. Hulk would Hulk smash Batman so fast.
You guys just said that size doesn't matter and Batman wouldn't beat Black Widow because
Black Widow is not, neither of them are the Hulk though. Because like even Iron Man had to build a special suit to fight the Hulk.
Right, and Batman built a special suit to beat Superman, and he would build something in order to beat Black Widow. He would find.
We're talking about the Hulk now. If the Hulk just came out and fought Batman, he would not already have a suit prepared. He would die.
She-Hulk would defeat Batman. There's no way that like he would Batman. Be able to fight with.
How could you compare Batman?
What do you mean not like Batman? She-Hulk's like a fucking like Colossus. Like there's no way. Like what are you talking about? You're just a really big Batman fan, apparently.
I'm really not. I'm really not. I just know enough to know that Batman holds his own with a lot of people. And
no, because you're not making any sense at all.
No.